Hello and welcome to the video. This is the second video, a companion video, I guess, to one that I did recently where we actually installed a Nexus into this wing. Now this is the NEXUS-XR. It's one of two current generation of Nexus flight stabilizers that RadioMaster sell. They originally developed for helicopters, but I asked them to add support in iNav, and it's now here. And last time we spent a bit of time, about 35 minutes actually, the video ended up, putting iNav on it, going through all the settings, make sure the servos are moving in the right direction, they had the right throws, setting up the radio, all that stuff. However, one thing that I didn't do, because I didn't want to overwhelm those of you that just want to use the Nexus as a simple flight stabilizer, is about adding a GPS. And those who are sharp-eyed will notice that there is actually a GPS in here. And the GPSs that you can buy to plug into this are not expensive. They're relatively cheap and cheerful. I'll put a link down below to the ones that I like to use here. But why would you bother adding a GPS to it? Because what really do you get? Well, the answer is, if you add a GPS to an iNav flight controller, which is essentially what the Nexus is by the time you've done that first video, you unlock a massive amount of additional benefits. iNav was kind of developed to do stabilization, but that's probably 5% of what it actually does. And by adding a GPS, you unlock so much more. The first thing you unlock, and I'll show you all this in a moment, is the fact that you get additional flight modes. You have GPS return to home, that you can flick that mode and the plane will actually fly back to you, and you can then decide what it does when it gets back to you, whether it just circles over the home location or whether it will gently descend so it lands, or you can actually set it up to do automated landing. You also have things like GPS loiter, which is where it will circle round a point in 3D space. So if you maybe have been harassed by a bee on the flight line and you just need to lift your goggles up or take your eyes off the model for a moment, you can flick it into GPS loiter and it will just circle that location and fly itself. But it'll also do things like automated flying. You can load missions, waypoints into the flight controller and ask it to fly those autonomously. I think it's called Nav Waypoint now. Used to be Auto back in the day. The other thing as well is that it also then means that because we have a GPS return to home, we can tell iNav or the flight stabilizer to use that in the event of an issue. So if there is a problem, it'll just fly back to you. And I have that set on my adhere switch so that as soon as I hit that, the plane will level itself out and it'd start a return to home. That's what I would set your adhere switch to once you have a GPS. And finally, because you have a GPS, all the information that's coming into the flight controller is not just about its position in X and Y coordinates on the planet. There's actually a massive amount of additional things that you get back to the radio as telemetry that you can then use to monitor your flight. But also, if you are flying via FPV, you can add those elements into your on-screen display. And there's a whole section of stuff that gets added once you've turned on the GPS goodness. So let's go on the bench. I'll show you how to do this. Again, links below if you want to buy a GPS to add to this. It does mean there are 4 little bits of soldering, but once you have soldered the supplied cables that come with the Nexus onto your GPS and plugged it in, as I'm about to show you, all that goodness with a couple of little changes in iNav configurator just gets turned on. So to unlock all of this fabulous additional features that you get with iNav and something like the XR, all we need to do, as I mentioned in the introduction, is add a little GPS. And these are not expensive at all. I'll put a link down below if you want to go and have a look. I actually like these HGLRC M100. This is an M100 Mini. It's really small and lightweight. And all we're going to do is we're going to plug it into port A, which is here by the side, just by the side of where we have the voltage regulation. So all I'm going to do, and this is a bit tricky when it's actually already installed because it's a little bit of a test of dexterity, but if we can get the cable in there like that, have some double-sided foam tape on the back. Love this stuff, it gets used for everything. Just going to pop it on the top like that. There we go. That is now installed. It is that easy. Now, what we have to do in iNav is connect it to the computer and tell iNav that, yep, now you have a GPS, but also use it for navigation. And then we can configure things like the on-screen display and return to home and all those cool things I talked about in the introduction. It's dead easy. So we're just going to plug it in. We'll see that we have the lights for the GPS. Because we're not configuring a compass and we've only got these 4 wires from the GPS to this flight controller, we don't have to worry about the orientation. It could literally go anywhere, but just on top seems like a sensible place. So here on the computer, I'm going to click on connect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the ports, and UART4, which is this one on the side we've just plugged it into, we're going to tell it that it actually now has a GPS installed. I'm going to click save and reboot. When it comes back, it's still not going to use the GPS. iNav at this point just knows that there's a GPS on that port. However, we now have to say to iNav that we actually want to use it for flight navigation and such. So this time what we have to do is go into the configuration tab, is to scroll down and say GPS for navigation and telemetry. We need to enable that. Click save and reboot. And then when it comes back next time, we're looking for the GPS icon at the top of the screen to be a nice blue color. And sometimes that can take a second to appear. So if it's red, then you're in trouble. And we can see here that beautifully we have a blue GPS. That's great. And we can confirm it's all working. If we go into the GPS tab and scroll down, we can see that the messages here are actually streaming in beautifully. This means this GPS is connected and working, and we have just unlocked all of those extra things that we talked about by doing 4 little soldered connections, a little bit of double-sided tape, and sticking it on the top. Now, we're not going to get a lock in here very quickly because we're inside. However, now we will find that we have lots of additional things. First of all, if we now go into the modes tab, we will scroll down here, and now we've got lots of additional navigation modes. We have things like nav loiter. That is where the plane will basically fly around in a circle around the point that you initiated the mode. We have nav return to home. This is why I add a lot of iNav to my planes. By the time you have put in your HDFPV system and everything else, it can be a lot of money in the air, even for a little small plane like this. So having, in the event of a problem, the plane flying back to you is really important. We have nav waypoints, which also allows us to fly autonomous missions. We can load waypoints into the flight controller, and the flight controller will now fly them without us having to do anything. So we have all of these additional options, which means if we go into the failsafe tab, I would now select return to home as the failsafe mode so that the plane can fly back. You can also get iNav to land the model. So you can either have it spiral around the home location and basically loiter when it gets back. You can have it descend in a spiral until it gradually, gracefully kisses the ground, or you can have it execute a landing itself. Now, the reason that this red thing is here on the right hand side is because we don't have a GPS lock. And this means that at the field now, this is the only extra thing we have to do. When we plug this all in, we might have to give it a minute or two with a view of the sky for the GPS to lock up. Once it's locked for the first part of the day, it'll lock very quickly subsequently from there on in. That's the reason that it's red. That's the reason that if I try to arm it now, it will basically tell me it isn't safe to arm. And you can probably see here the arming flags, it's disabled, navigation is unsafe. The other things that we also now have, if we go into the on-screen display, we now have a load of additional things in here that we can actually add. So we can do things like we can add the altitude, ground speed, we can keep track of the maximum speed, we can display the longitude and the latitude, we can have direction and distance to home, we can have things like the trip distance. The GPS H-stop, or the horizontal degree of precision, needs to be less than 2.0 with about 6 or 7 satellites to arm, but I like to show that on my display. We can see things like the vertical wind speed, All this stuff is because we have a GPS. So by adding this little GPS, which is not expensive at all, we have all of this additional goodness. And I would recommend, if you're going to go to the trouble of adding this little thing in, a NEXUS-XR or a NEXUS-X into your fixed wing as a stabilizer, treat yourself to a GPS and pop it on, because with that added, it then unlocks iNav into all of the other fantastic things it can do, including things like return to home, fantastic on-screen display, and lots of other modes available too. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Painless 360 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.